Welcome back to It's in the Details. Please do remember to share, like, subscribe, rate, comment, review, and all of the places. Help grow the show. Today we've got another solo episode, just because there's some stuff I want to talk about and some stuff I think you should know about. Later in the episode, I am going to be giving you a bunch of information on why I feel like you should be watching 000. Phenomenal show. But first, some of the things I just wanted to talk about. It includes some sports, some movies. Sports-wise, we're going to start with baseball. Hey, baseball, why are you so slow? So slow. Your games take forever. Baseball's got big time stars in the game right now. You got Mookie Betts, plays for the Dodgers. You got Shohei Ohtani, who is the first man in a long time to be pitching and batting regularly. He hits the ball as hard as anybody else. He's fast. And he plays with Mike Trout, another superstar you probably just heard the name of for the first time. And then there is the starriest of stars, Fernando Tatis Jr. I've been hearing about Fernando Tatis Jr. for a little bit now, a few months. I decided to check a rivalry game between the Dodgers, last year's World Series champions, and the San Diego Padres about a week ago. Just caught one game. It was a good game. I got lucky. The Padres were down 6-1, came all the way back, won the game in extra innings. Fernando Tatis had a home run. He did a bunch of amazing things. And let me tell you about Fernando Tatis, because he is must-watch TV. He is long. He's lean. He's sleek. He looks like the human equivalent of a cheetah. He's got dreads. They're dyed blonde. When you see this man, you think, that's a superstar. Go ahead and Google this man. Fernando Tatis Jr. Tell me you don't want to watch this man play baseball or basketball, golf, checkers, Scrabble, go for a run, walk down the street. The stars are stars for a reason. This man is a superstar. And guess what? That game I watched, it took 5 hours. 5 hours. This is not a baseball game that went for 18 innings. It went 2 extra innings. 2. The game was taking so long, I started timing the amount of time from pitch to pitch. You know what I found out? 30 to 35 seconds between pitches. That's too long. It's just too long. You figure there were 250 pitches in that game? The amount of time people spent watching nothing happen at a baseball game is outrageous. And I used to be a relatively big baseball fan. Personal story. I am lucky enough to be just old enough to have a good memory of when the Blue Jays won their 2 championships back to back. And I have a great memory of when they won in Toronto, because my mother watched that game with me. And after they won, she looked at me and said, "You want to go downtown and celebrate?" And I couldn't believe it. I said, "Yeah, let's go." It was chaos. It was 100% chaos downtown, but we managed to stay safe. We got to celebrate. We got to head back home. It was a memory that I will have forever. Thank you, Mom. You're a great person. But the world is not going to see Fernando Tatis Jr. play baseball until they stop having 5-hour games for no reason. Another little sports piece I have for you today is the NFL draft. I watched the NFL draft this year. And when I say watch, I mean with passing interest. I record it, PVR, and then that lets me fast forward through teams and players I don't care about, don't want to know anything about. And I happened to catch something that I found so interesting. There was a young man who clearly has worked his entire life to get into the NFL. And on the night of his wildest dreams coming true, homeboy was locked up in his mama's basement on quarantine because he's COVID positive. Now, it may sound like I'm making light of this. He looks like he's in good health. I'm happy everybody's safe. I hope everybody can manage to avoid this virus and do what you need to do to take care of you and yours. But on the night of his wildest dreams coming true, homeboy couldn't celebrate with anybody. And you know how I know he was in his mama's basement on quarantine? Not because that's an easy assumption to make, because he let somebody from ESPN put cameras in his house so we could broadcast. So we could broadcast him in his sweater and his one necklace on TV celebrating by himself. What? I mean, what? Listen, if it was me, okay, I would have said, hey, ESPN, thanks for the offer, but I have COVID and I'm going to look crazy and lonely in this basement by myself. So how about you just put up some clips of me doing football stuff on a football field instead of showing me all by my lonesome in this basement? But I guess when you're 21, you flex however you can flex. And he thought solo was the way to flex. Bro, people would know you were in the NFL either way. You didn't have to do that to yourself. I watched 1917 a few weeks ago. I'm fond of war movies. 1917 is a war movie, if you don't know. I'll admit I need to be in the right headspace to watch a historical yet theatrical depiction of thousands and thousands of people dying at war. It's a movie, but we know what happened. So you gotta be in the right spot for that. And I watched Dunkirk a few years back with my mouth hanging open for 80% of that movie. I just couldn't believe how good it was, how chilling, how courageous, how brave all of those men must have been. But 1917 is a different type of ride. There are 0 cuts for the first 30 minutes. 30 minutes. Obviously, there's some camera tricks and editing tricks at play, but we meet the 2 main characters at the beginning of the movie. They receive some daunting orders that if they don't deliver a message to another battalion across the warfield, that their colleagues, their fellow soldiers, are going to be ambushed and thousands of people are going to die. Okay? And these 2 have to get to them and give them this message so they can be safe. And we don't cut away from them for 30 minutes. Okay? Movie making, TV making, they use those scenes and cuts and fade to blacks to tell the story, to set the tone, set the pace. And they give you relief from tension that has been building. You don't get any relief for 30 minutes. Truly incredible. I've never seen anything like it. The rest of the movie is great as well. Thrilling, breathtaking, heartbreaking, all of that stuff. And regardless of how you may feel about award shows, this movie won 3 Oscars, including 1 for cinematography. And if you go watch it, it'll be obvious to you why they won that award. I also watched Without Remorse this weekend. Michael B. Jordan's new movie where he's the best Navy SEAL to ever seal amongst all the SEALs ever in SEAL history. He's the sealiest. And I really do like Michael B. Jordan a lot. He seems like a great man, at least what they give us through media. He seems to be a great man in real life. He's a really solid actor. And his action scenes were tremendous in this movie. The stunts are jaw droppers. I'm sure you're going to watch it. It's probably the number 1 movie right now. The stunts are amazing. Amazing stunts. He has a co-star named Jodie Turner-Smith. She is otherworldly. She is a breath of fresh air, really. Her character and her acting are a breath of fresh air in regular life. They're a breath of fresh air in media. It was great to see. Her dialogue is fantastic. And that's about all I want to say about that movie. The rest of the movie, it ain't so great. And they're making a second one. I'm probably gonna watch it, but I don't want to watch it. Michael B. Jordan's dialogue is not good. I said I was not going to talk about this. I'm not. Listen, it's fun. Watch it with some popcorn and expect stuff to blow up, I guess. It's not supposed to be smart. Like the dialogue, it's an action movie. Why am I so hard on the dialogue they gave Michael B. Jordan? It's probably because Jodie Turner-Smith's dialogue was so good that Michael B. Jordan's terrible dialogue was so bad. The rest of the stuff he does in it, though, without talking, is really good. I hope you like it. Zero. This is a show I heard about 4 or 5 weeks ago. I was working my way through something else, but whenever I had time to watch something, I wanted to watch this. I'll tell you what I heard about it. It's about Narcos, not the Netflix show, cartels and crime. And I also heard the budget was approximately $180 million. And it's only 8 episodes. For those of you not that quick on the math, that's roughly $22 million per episode. I gotta say, I was really, really excited for this show. When I knew I was starting it, I got myself some snacks, a beverage, nestled myself into my couch. There may have been some giggling, and I may have let out an "oh shit," and then I hit play. I'm a nerd for this stuff. What do you expect? 000 is a crime, mob, drug, drama, thriller, unlike anything you've ever seen before. You've seen other shows and movies on the same topic, but not done like this. Not done with the same care, not done with the same beauty, not done in these locations, not done with this type of tension. It is exquisite. 000 focuses primarily on two families, an Italian family with generations in the drug trade and an American family that helps broker transactions between the buyers and the sellers. It includes all the betrayal and chess moves you would expect while watching a story about Narcos. And it also shows how loyalty can be fostered as long as the money keeps flowing in. Let's get to the things that will leave a mark on you. It is stunningly, stunningly beautiful in a number of ways. They shoot scenes all over the map: Italy, Morocco, Mexico, Senegal, the United States, scenes shot in the Gulf of Mexico, and the Sahara Desert. Unless you're a very adventurous traveler, you're unlikely to see the spots in the world they shot this series. They managed to capture the unique beauty of all of these locations, whether that may be traversing treacherous terrain among the mountaintops in Italy, endless miles of ocean inhabited by a single cargo ship, or just getting to see endless numbers of African faces on screen in Senegal. And you don't typically get to see large numbers of African faces in anything, so I really appreciated that. Furthermore, they spent a lot of money to be able to film in these locations, and they made sure to get full value on their dollar. If the scene does not call for a close-up of a character, they have spent the time to frame each shot so perfectly that your eyes are forced to dance back and forth between remarkable scenery in the background and an actor or actress whom you could stare at forever. They found lookout points, beautiful new buildings, intriguing old buildings, interesting bridges, and even farm animals. Everything about this show screams, "Look at me." It really does crave your attention, and I believe you'll find yourself craving this show. On to the actors. I found myself unfamiliar with every person in this show. I'm positive they've had or will have wonderful careers, whether that is in North America or around the world. But what stood out to me is every single face is so much fun to look at on screen. Whether it is a main character, a person with one line, a person who is murdered as soon as they appear, wearing a hat, wearing sunglasses, beard, old, young, it doesn't matter. I just couldn't believe it. The only person that should be allowed to cast film is whomever was responsible for casting this show. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that the scale of the production probably forced them to hire a lot of people in these locations they travel to. And personally, that diversity really lent a genuine richness to the end product. There's no way to say enough about the people in this series. You kind of just have to see it and them. The show also uses this very cool storytelling device throughout each episode, which I'm probably going to butcher right now by trying to explain it. But a couple of characters will either get to a location and get split up, or meet at a location where something pivotal has just taken place. And they will take you back to what was happening on the other side of that storyline after the characters departed from one another, or what happened before the character you were with arrived on location of that pivotal plot point. I hope I'm explaining it well enough, but my explanation won't matter once you've seen it because it works so much better than I'm explaining it. I think the biggest thing that sets this apart from all of the others for me, and I'm not necessarily saying this is better than a Godfather or Scarface or Narcos, but what sets it apart for me is the modernity. It is a story shot in the 2000s that feels of the 2000s. While the story is a tale as old as any other drug crime drama, this show feels so new. Part of it, I believe, is the technology in play. Part of it also has to be the scale. Everything about it visually is so elaborate, so well thought out, and so expensive. But what I think the major piece is the ruthlessness of many of the characters. I know there were some gruesome scenes in those projects I mentioned earlier, but for me, there was always something cartoony about the way they filmed many of those violent scenes back in the day. And even in Narcos, which was filmed relatively recently, there was a haze on it because it was based in the 70s and 80s. But this show is something else. I have a strong belief, which I have not researched, but I have a strong belief that these streaming services are just allowed to shoot whatever they want. Your scene calls for breaking a person's hand right off their wrist? Cool, do it. Wait. You want to show the bone sticking out of the wrist too? Say no more. We've got the top prosthetics people on speed dial. Another piece that I feel makes it feel so current is the use of the military. And yes, I know other projects like this have had heavy military presence as well, but the military in this is Mexican Special Forces. Emphasis on the special. These guys are spectacular. They are organized, efficient, effective, and the leader is a very, very complicated bad guy. He's got a soft side, but remember that ruthlessness and violence I mentioned? Homeboy is ruthless and violent. This is a show that shows you the difference between bad guys and bad guys. The types of bad guys that bad guys don't want to run into. The types of bad guys that only answer questions they want to answer, and if they have to answer a question they don't want to answer, the way they deflect and redirect, it's like watching magic happen. Oh, I didn't mention the script was fire. The script is fire. In all honesty, I can't imagine this will be a show you only watch once. I will admit, it is heavy. It is the kind of heavy you would usually need a break from after each episode. But it's so beautiful and so smart and so thrilling that I think it's inherently bingeable. If you've already seen it, I'd love to hear from you and what you loved or hated about it. And if you haven't already seen it, this is something you've got to see. All right, y'all. Once again, please remember to share, like, subscribe, comment, rate, review, and take care, y'all. Peace.